Привет, civilized world, welcome to Runglish School by Albatross. This particular course is called Хуйкидо. It's a mixed marital arts of Russian curses.
Sukality.
After this series of lessons, you will be able to curse like a real Russian Vanka, блять. Today we're gonna learn a fundamental word, suka. It's not very hard, not very offensive, but super often used by Russian speakers. And we're gonna figure out the nuances, how to use it properly to make your Russian language cooler. Generally, suka is an equivalent to bitch in English, but there are a lot of tiny moments you should know about. First, let's dig a little bit in the history. Originally, suka meant a female dog, so it wasn't a curse at all. For example, if you have a male dog, you call him кобель. If you have a female dog, you call him suka. It exists now too, so if you will be surfing through any online pet shop in Russia or some forum where people talk about their pets, you will see suka a lot, but it will not be a curse. They will just describe the dog. Suka equally used for males and females, so you can describe any person like that. Like, ах ты сука, you can say to a man and you can say to a woman, and this gonna be offensive. It's gonna be an insult. Not super hard insult, but still. Probably equal as in English if you say, what a bitch you are. But here we should be careful. When we say bitch to a woman, it's gonna be more about her temper, about her way of life. Like, it's a woman who brings problems. It's a woman who eats your brains with a teaspoon. It's a woman who makes your life hard. Она такая сука, невозможно, like she's such a bitch, it's impossible, I can't stand it. Very important moment is the level of offensiveness. It depends on who are you talking to. If it's your friend who is a male, so you have like a close relations, you are the buddies, it's gonna be less offensive. You can say, ах ты сука, like joking, you know, like what a bitch you are for your friend, and it's gonna be okay. But if you say suka to someone you don't know, he can break your nose because, you know, it's an insult. It's like, what? You called me bitch? Come over here. Can you repeat it? Bam! You done. And if you say it to a woman, it's also very offensive if the woman is not your friend. And even if the woman is your friend, it can be offensive because in Russia we are a little bit more conservative, you know. We don't use the same language for your male friends and for your female friends. With our female friends, we go nicer. We don't say a lot of curses and stuff. We try to filter it a little bit. So if you have a Russian friend who is a girl and you want to say like, ну чё, сука, как дела? That's not gonna work. Probably so. Be careful. Сука can mean a traitor.
Какой масти? Не пидор, не сука. По какой статье чалишься?
You know, in Russia, prison culture is very popular, and in prisons they have their own slang, like their own kind of dialect. Not only in Russian language, in every language, I think. And in Russia, a lot of words from that prison slang get to normal life, and many people use suka as a traitor. In prison, suka is somebody who collaborates with police, who gives information to the prosecution and stuff, so everybody hates suka.
Да ты сука! Братва! Да он раскололся!
Сука вне закона.
You can even make a process, like for example, сучиться is to become сука.
А ты часом не сучился, пахан?
Russian mass culture loves to import Western trends and Western tradition into Russian culture, and a lot of rap slang is from English, of course, because you know, rap from the United States is probably the most famous rap in the world. American rappers say my bitches, here are my bitches. In such a context, my bitches in English means like my girls, my chicks, and we imported it into Russia too. If you listen to young generation Russian rap, which is absolute replica of American rap just translated into Russian.
Я стреляю, она подставляет губы, я меняю, суку, выставляю фото с Кубы. Я в 11 классе наизклассе. Суки говорят мне, папа, you so fucking classy. С этим дипломом мне не трахать, сук на бале.
Absolutely identical to English because we just stole it from you guys. Thank you. Also, suka is a very popular interjection. You can use it in many situations, equivalent to English, oh no, damn, god damn. You can say suka, like when you have a dozen of eggs and you accidentally drop them and they all get broken and you say, what suka, suka. So it's just an interjection, meaning that you are unhappy. Also, suka can be emphatic negative. If you have some negative word, especially a verb, if you add suka to it, it's gonna be even more negative, so it will be more emphatic. Like for example, ненавижу, it means like I hate it. But if you say сука ненавижу, it's like I double hate it, it's more powerful. Also, suka can be a positive emphatic interjection. For example, you have a situation when you are very happy and when in English you will say yes. Like, I don't know, you won a lottery or something. The girl you like gave you the phone number and you're like, yes. In Russian you will say da. And if you say suka da, it means it makes you double happy. Or da suka, it means like fuck yeah.
Мышь ты, сука! Сука!
Add suka to a positive interjection and you will emphasize it. But be careful if you are in formal situation like business negotiations or a lot of girls in front of you, that might be too much. So choose the proper situation for it. Suka can make your sarcastic or ironic expressions more interesting. For example, if you wanna tell someone that he is not as smart as he thinks about himself, in English you would say something like, oh man, you're not that smart, or like, you're not as smart as you think. In Russian you can say, такой ты сука умный. And it's gonna mean that like, you are so fucking smart, but the meaning will actually be a little bit opposite. So it's gonna be a little sarcastic, and the person who is a native Russian speaker, he will feel your sarcasm and he will understand that you are not giving him a compliment like, wow, you're so smart, that you telling him like, amigo, be humble. Also, it can give your expression a little taste of jealousy. If one girl says to another girl, такая ты сука красавица, it's gonna mean like, oh, you're so beautiful, bitch, but I wanna be as beautiful as you and more beautiful than you, and now I'm jealous. That kind of stuff. And now, guys, the most important part and the most funny part. Combos.
And they combine them all together like Tourette's. They go, пиздец нахуй, блять, and they're just like screaming.
What makes Russian curses so great? The ability of different combinations you can build with them. So cursing in Russian language, you can be very creative.
Мудак ёбаный, дегенерат, ебучий, блядь, ты сука ёбаная баба.
Also, you can make combos with suka. Like, for example, you probably all heard suka блять. So suka блять, it's like double negative interjection. Or you can say сука нахуй блять, which will be like triple negative interjection. Сука блять, сука нахуй, сука пиздец. All these are good combos which you can use. Grammatical suka rules. If it's just a word, not an interjection, we don't need a comma. We just spell it as it is. For example, она такая сука. Or вот он сука. No commas needed. But if it's an interjection, we separate it but commas from both sides. Он такой сука умный. Russian language is similar with Spanish and some other languages in terms of using the endings to create a slightly different meanings of the word, like diminutives or something. Like, for example, in Spanish, you can say like cuchara or cucharito, chico, chiquitito, same in Russian language. And for suka, we have suchara. So suchara, it's like a slightly different suka. And the meaning is not different. The meaning is the same, but just depending on the situation, you can use another one. For example, the super popular
What up, biatch?
was translated as
Чё, кого, сучара?
suka and suchara are the same, just a little bit different sound. And the more you practice Russian language, the more you will understand when you can use suka and when you can use suchara. Also, we have a form suchka, so it's a diminutive, suka, suchka. If Spanish language has something like that, it's gonna be like puta, putita. I don't know, maybe they have it, I will ask. So, you can call сучка a woman which you would like to fuck.
О, сучкова! О, сучка! Малая, запрыгивай!
But it's a little bit offensive, so if you can't say it as a compliment like «О, сучка, ты классная», use full phrases with сука. Number one is, of course, сукин сын, which is son of a bitch. I think every language in this planet has its own equivalent of son of a bitch, and in Russia it's сукин сын.
На колени, червь! Попался прелюбодей, сукин сын!
Absolutely identical meaning, absolutely identical usage. So you can use сукин сын in Russia exactly as you do it in English. But remember that Russia is more conservative and it's gonna be a little bit more offensive. So choose very carefully the person and the situation for who you can say сукин сын. Ты, сука, прав. You're a goddamn right. From Breaking Bad movie series.
You're goddamn right.
Ты, сука, прав.
It's also very popular in Russian language. You can use it when you like extremely agree with someone in informal situation. This is the basic things you should know about сука. Thank you for learning with me. If you want more, subscribe to my special Хуйкидо Russian Curses course. There you can find everything from grammar, vocabulary, tests to individual classes with me. I promise it's gonna be the most badass learning of Russian language you can find in the internet. The link in the description. See you soon, сука!